Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today and for joining me in Pootles Advent Countdown. I think we're on number 20, I don't know, but there's not very many left. Now, this card I posted on Instagram and my business page a few weeks ago, and I said, I haven't made a tutorial, would anybody like it? And there was kind of a resounding yes, please. Now, I can't confess to being the best at making fancy folds. I tend not really even to copy them. On the odd occasion I do. I tend to just make it up as I go along. And so that's exactly what I've done with this one. Now, I'm only going to give you metric measurements for international A4 cardstock, because that's what I work in. That's what everybody works in. The entire world works in international A4, except North America. You work in 8.5 by 11. But obviously I'm British and we work both in metric and imperial, but it will just get too confusing if I try and give you 3 sets of measurements, because I would need to give you metric for international A4, I'd need to give you imperial for international A4, and then I'd need to give you imperial for 8.5 by 11, which is a cardstock I don't have. So I'm going to give you the principle of it. Okay, so I'm going to get my trimmer out because I just find it a little bit easier. It's a standard C6 card, so this is just a standard card size, so it will fit in any envelope. And so you take your sheet of cardstock and you cut it in half down the length, and then you score it in half. So I know that mine is being scored at 14.85 centimetres. Okay, you also want to score it at 3 and 8 centimetres. So I'm going to score my 3 and 8. So the first principle of this is that you fold it in half and then almost in half again. Almost, not quite. So this, I mean, you could do it exactly in half, but you don't have to. And then this is approximately 1/3 of this area. It's not quite, it's approximate, but that's going to give you this sort of nice concertina shape. Okay, so score it in half, almost a half, and then 1/3. So however you want that to be. But obviously this panel needs to come across and go back on itself. So I'm going to burnish that up. And once you've got these measurements here, that will then determine your base cardstock, base paper rather. So I've taken the kindest gnomes. I think that's what I took before, don't quote me on it. That's going to tuck inside in there. So if I open it all out, you can see where I've got panels. You could put panels everywhere, I haven't. So that one goes there. This one comes on here. There's my other little skinny bit. This one comes on here, and that one in there. So like I say, once you have determined the size that you want to cut your cardstock and where you want to score it, then you cut your pieces of paper. Now again, because I work in metric, couldn't think what I worked in then for a second, I make mine 1/2 centimetre shorter and narrower. If you work in imperial, maybe 1/8 of an inch shorter and narrower, 1/4 of an inch, it's entirely up to you. Okay, and then the last one, I couldn't remember if I'd put it check or spot side down. Okay, so that's the most part of this so far. Now I've got a panel on the front that is this one, and it's going to have a piece of white cardstock stuck to the front and just go over, and then there's going to be a piece of cardstock that comes across the back. So again, you're kind of eyeballing it, you're just looking to see what fits and where. So I want to stamp these. So again, if I bring in my original, so here's my little seal. And then I've got this other panel here, but it's actually smaller because you want to cover it over. So this is the one that is going to stick inside, and there's quite the difference there. And it's like I say, it's so it gets covered. So, seal of approval. So I had the little seal and the big seal. And then, hope your Christmas is a big splash. What am I going to put on the front? What did I put on the front? Oh, I just put warm wishes. And some snowflakes because, you know, Christmas. So this one is all balmy blue. This one was Bermuda Bay. So get some big blocks out. Isn't he just adorable? Oh, so cute. So just getting these all set up on blocks. The world's biggest block. Okay, and then some balmy blue. So I'm just going to get this smaller one popped out of the way for now and bring in my bigger one. And get my seal on there. And it was actually the seal that kind of determined just check that's the right way round. Yes. It was the seal that sort of determined the size of my piece of paper. Little snowflakes scattered around. So sweet. And then I want the other one that is the same size as this. And I'm going to stamp. Let's just get this one the right way round. No. Hope your Christmas makes a big splash. Kind of in the centre. We'll have some more snowflakes. And then the final one over here is my little snail. It's not a snail at all, it's a seal. Okay. So cute. Oh, just stuck my fingers in the ink pad. So again, I'm just going to pop this to one side so I don't get myself confused, which is easily done. Oh, and a courier's just about to turn up. Okay, so this is going to sit over here, so I just want adhesive down one side. And I'm just eyeballing it really, as much as anything. It's my other panel. And again, I just need to make sure, oh actually no, I can go over all of it. Huh? Going to sit over there, and then the last thing I need to do is just make sure I get this fully covered up. And I'm not going to press too hard, I'm just going quite light. And that was pretty impressive even for me. Oh no, it's not a courier, it's my neighbour. And that is my little flip-flop seal of approval card. A really easy, really easy to make. Like I say, I'll put all of the measurements for metric on my blog, for metric for International A4, but you've got the principle of it now. So long ways cards, score it in half, score it almost in half, and then score it a third. And that's how you make it. And it's really cute, and it stands up. Even though this bit doesn't actually touch the ground, this bit here doesn't touch, it stands up without any issue. I like it for a card that came out of my brain and a fancy fold, and that's not my skill set. I'm really pleased. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me. Hope to speak to you very soon. Bye.